Several housing advocates and real estate experts came together to urge the Trudeau government to build more rental units and make them more affordable to Canadians. They outlined 10 recommendations for doing so. Joining us now is one of the authors of this new report, Mike Moffatt. He's also founding director with the Place Center at the Smart Prosperity Institute. Thanks so much for joining us today, Mike.
No, thank you for having me.
So when it comes to Canada's housing crisis, how much of a solution is rental housing in your eyes?
Well, it's a big part of the solution. That rental housing makes up over a third of the housing market, and it tends to be the third that gets to be under the biggest stress. It's got the highest proportion of people living on fixed incomes, lower income Canadians. So when we have a housing crisis, it's often renters that get hit first.
So how big is the gap right now between the rental stock that we have and the rental stock that we need?
Well, the CMHC says that we need 5.8 million to build 5.8 million homes over the next 7 years. If we apply that third rule, that's about 2 million rental units. And to put that into context, Canada only built 570,000 rental units in the last 30 years. So we need to build about 2 million in the next 7. So, this is going to take a wartime-like effort to get some shovels in the ground to really attack this rental crisis.
Yeah, okay, so what are some of the roadblocks or the bottlenecks that you've found when it comes to actually getting some of these buildings built?
Well, there's a few things. So labor shortages, for instance. So this report recommends both a workforce planning strategy, but also changes to federal immigration programs so we can get in more skilled workers. We also have a lot of great apartment buildings that simply aren't being built, that they just don't pencil in, particularly with higher interest rates. So we have a number of recommendations in here how the federal government can remove the GST, HST on new rental construction, can put in some tax incentives like we had back in the 60s and 70s, and change how CMHC financing works. And we need to change the approvals process, and that's across all three orders of government, that there are, again, thousands of fantastic projects that are sitting on the CMHC's desk just waiting for finance and insurance approvals. If we can get those through the system, we can really start to attack this problem.
Yeah, it's interesting, that sort of bureaucracy of building. You've proposed a couple of ideas of ways to fast track that, too, in the sense of coming up with designs that are pre-approved, that, you don't really need to take through that process multiple times. You could just get that building built.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we did back in the 1940s after World War II, and we needed to house all of our veterans and families, that the CMHC had a catalog of pre-approved designs. We're suggesting they should bring that back, but for apartment buildings. And what that would do is if a builder or developer wants to build one of those, they could have their application fast-tracked because the CMHC's already approved the building. So that takes out a large portion of the step. And that's what we feel that we need to do, that we just need to find ways to streamline processes and make them more productive so we're not doing the same thing over and over and over.
How hopeful are you that it's possible to streamline some of these processes? Because when you talk about all those, multiple layers of government and all of the groups that need to be involved, I imagine just getting everybody together in the same room would be a challenge and would take a lot of time.
It is a big coordination problem, absolutely. And, we feel like we've started that work by bringing together both industry and groups like the Canadian Alliance and Homelessness. And we need to see the federal government start to bring these groups together. And they've done so on healthcare. They've done so on childcare. We think it's now time to do this on housing.
I wonder, are there risks to, affordability? If you're needing to find ways to make things more affordable, government money is going into different directions, in terms of investing in the housing market. That money is coming from somewhere. It's coming from taxpayers. Maybe it ends up, keeping house prices elevated if it can keep demand in there. Are you concerned about any sort of the risks?
Well, you certainly are always worried about unintended consequences. And, a large part of this plan isn't about government money, but trying to figure out how to unlock private capital. That we are going to need over $1 trillion of investment in the sector. And that's not going to come from government. That's going to come from investors and the business community. We are going to need investments in social housing. And the report makes a number of recommendations how the government can do this in fairly inexpensive ways. Now, this will cost some money. It's not free. But if the government designs this well, it can do so in a way that doesn't significantly increase the deficit and debt.
Mike, always great to get your